First, it's Porky's Hare Hunt from 1938 as a follow-up to Porky's Duck Hunt, which gave birth to Daffy Duck. The powers that be came up with the idea of this and gave it to Ben Hardaway with Howard Baldwin as writer. And so another star was born, just not immediately. The rabbit is plain white and pretty much a carbon copy of Daffy. He didn't really get an official name but became known as Happy Rabbit. He also has a somewhat familiar laugh that we'd come to know better from another source. More on this later. As far as on TV, I don't think this was on too much until like Nickelodeon. Boy, does that laugh sound familiar. Next is Presto Change-o from 1939. Chuck Jones gets his first crack at bugs, sort of. In his Disney period, along with the Sniffles cartoons, he came up with two curious dogs who wander into different environments and get into all kinds of trouble. In this case, written by Rich Hogan, it's at the home of a magician and they get harassed by his rabbit. I remember this mainly from the TBS days. Now, as I mentioned, Happy Rabbit made one more appearance in Patient Porky.
Correction!
Then it was off to retirement. Now, also from 1939 is Hare-um Scare-um. Ben Hardaway returns, co-directing with Cal Dalton, with script by Melvin Miller. A guy and his dog go rabbit hunting to get around meat rationing, but end up dealing with a crazy bunny. Now, the most important part of the restoration on this one is not how it looks, but it restores the 30-second section at the end. If you know the cartoon, it was in syndication since I was small. It ends with the hunter saying,
I can whip you and your whole family!
Suddenly the whole family shows up, fists up, and then it fades out. The actual ending has the family laying the smackdown on the hunter, leaving him dazed. Proto Bugs comes back, breaks the hunter's gun before bouncing away on his head, followed by the hunter doing the same thing. Eventually, once the rabbit evolved to who he'd become, they rechristened him with a new name and selected Ben Hardaway's nickname for him. But not just yet. Next is Elmer's Candid Camera from 1940. This is actually the only one so far that appeared on a previous collection, Volume 1. Chuck Jones takes another crack at the rabbit with Rich Hogan and Ted Pierce on script. The proto-Bugs, photographer Elmer, still morphing away from Egghead. Now, Chuck was beginning to move out of his Disney phase around this time. It's also apparent that the boys at Termite Terrace wanted a rabbit as a main character to take this many stabs at it. I mean, this was their fourth, before getting to Bugs himself. The rabbit here is a little more refined from the one in Hare-um Scare-um, but is still using the goofy laugh. Next time out, Mel changed Bugs' voice to the one we know today. But not wanting to let a voice go to waste, he reused the goofy laugh over at Universal for an Andy Panda cartoon where a woodpecker showed up to bug Andy and his dad. After a few tunes, Mel signed his Warner's exclusivity deal, so the woodpecker's vocal duties went to Hit's creator, Ben Hardaway. What a circle this is. Now, even funnier, it's odd to see the title of the TV show, Candid Camera, sitting right there on the movie screen in 1940, years before it ever existed. This was in syndication a lot, another one on since I was a kid. Finally, from 1940 as well, we get A Wild Hare by Tex Avery and written by Rich Hogan, the first Bugs Bunny cartoon where the immortal words,
What's up, Doc?
were first uttered, as well as this bon mot by Elmer.
Shh. Be very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits.
When it came time to give the character a name, Tex Avery wanted to call him Jack E. Rabbit, Jack Rabbit. But Leon Schlesinger actually liked the name that was written on the model sheet. Ben Hardaway had drawn the revised version of the character, and they noted that this was Ben's drawing by putting his nickname in front of it, calling it Bugs' bunny. So Leon Schlesinger saw Bugs Bunny, and that's how he got his name. Now, believe it or not, it took this long to get the first Bugs Bunny cartoon onto an official Looney Tunes set, having first been on the Academy Awards set, then the Essential Bugs Bunny. It was so notable an omission, it made the IMDb trivia section for the cartoon. Now, also, the original list of actresses that Elmer rattles off contained Carole Lombard.
Guess who? Betty Lamar? Nope. Well, Carole Lombard?
When this was reissued a few years later, she had unfortunately died in the plane crash in 1942, so they changed it to Barbara Stanwyck for the Blue Ribbon.
Guess who? Betty Lamar? Nope. Barbara Stanwyck?
Now, speaking of that, the original title card had been found and used for the recent digital releases. It always had the Blue Ribbon title card when I saw it on TV, which wasn't all that often, to be honest. Now, oddly enough, it's the Blue Ribbon reissue audio that's hard to get a hold of. Yet for some reason, on their New Year's Day first marathon of Looney Tunes, Boomerang had this version instead of the correct one. Why? It's the same company. Oy. The DVD version back on the Academy Awards set was a vast improvement over what had been showing up on TV for years. They cleaned it up and it looked unbelievable, like it was made yesterday. And the Blu-ray is an improvement upon that, like they just got finished with it. As mentioned, it has the Greg Ford commentary track, which again shows they probably intended to put it on a Golden Collection eventually. They just didn't do it before this series ended. Now, it's an open question if Elmer's pet rabbit fits into this mix anywhere. We'll discuss this in episode 7.